here. This event was sponsored by the University of Washington Bothell's MFA program in Creative Writing and Poetics. And we're really grateful to them for the support. And thank you so much to Ristretto Roasters for hosting the space. And thank you to Jane, Travis, and Michael, who have traveled from afar to read with us. And thanks to Dana for co-organizing. I'm going to just read the author bios, and then that's just the order that we're going to go in, and then we'll get started. Jane Wong's poems can be found in Best American Poetry 2015, American Poetry Review, AGNI, Poetry, and others. A Kundiman Fellow, she is the recipient of the Pushcart Prize and fellowships from the U.S. Fulbright Program, the Fine Arts Work Center, Hedgebrook, and Breadloaf. She is the author of Overpour from Action Books in 2016 and is an assistant professor of creative writing at Western Washington University.
Hi. Sorry. Hi. It's on. My name is Jane. Thank you all for coming. That was really beautiful. I think I was remembering a line, ration of affection or something like that. Is that right? That's how I feel about my childhood. And also, like, have you eaten yet? In Cantonese, it's le sec fam, which just means how are you? Also, so thank you so much for your reading. I love UW Bothell. FYI, just to say that too. I used to teach there, so I love it. Yeah, excited to be here. And can you all hear me? Okay. I'm just going to read a few poems. My second book, which is coming out kind of a little ways away, but 2021, from Alice James, is called How to Not Be Afraid of Everything. And so I'll be reading poems from that book. Before I wrote, basically I had that title in mind. There is a poem that's called that, but I knew that I had to write a poem called Everything. So this poem is called Everything. I am the type to go to bed with my feet dirty. A man calling from a balcony is not to be trusted. In 1988, the nation sings a song I can't understand, but I sing it because everyone looks at me like a thief and no one likes a thief. Algae gather in plastic cups along the Jersey shore. The dull prongs of a fork still count as a weapon. I gather plastic cups along the shore and shake them out to use for tea, juice, a home for my toothbrush. The Pledge of Allegiance is a building ledge, an alleged crime, a leg crossed over another leg, a plink on a skew, a glance shared in a room with someone who looks exactly like you. Hundreds of toxic wild boars are roaming across northern Japan. It would be a mistake to identify with them. In 1960, my grandmother holds no knife and no tall wheat. When washing her feet, my grandmother tells me she spent decades without shoes, wonders if the mud misses her. When we look at each other, we also look away knowingly. I am a good daughter, and I can repeat this indefinitely without ever taking a breath. Oftentimes, I call out to myself just to hear an echo, to hear something moving in the walls, like a healthy family of rats. My mother has been told repeatedly, you cannot walk here. Here's a white stone, a white fence, a white seagull, a white jug of milk, a white candle, a white duvet, a white patio, a white bar soap to wash your mouth out with. Sometimes I dream in Cantonese and I have no idea what is being said. You grow to love what you create, pouring out of your mouth. In 1988, my father sees his reflection in the rearview mirror and identifies with a blood moon lighting his way to Atlantic City. From a balcony, a man yells at me, says, "You need some white dick," and I turn into a boar. My father disappears for weeks and my mother keeps weeding the garden, pulling cigarettes from the splintering tomatoes I will devour. study asymptotes for months and dream in curves, almost but never touching. My mother writes in her English diary at night school, I hate him, I hate him, I hate him, I hate him, I. And her ESL teacher only gives her a check, so I give her a check plus. To be a good daughter means to carry everything with you at all times, the luggage of the past lifted to the mouth. In 1989, I spent months assembling a puzzle map of the United States of America, and the teacher said, good job, Jane. And it said louder and slower like a drowning sloth, good job, Jane. And I did not touch a single piece. Bloody drunk in a blood moon, my father fights with another gambler and jabs at his arm with a dull fork, and they both laugh celestially. During elementary school, I did not say a single word, not even when called upon, and thus the teachers and administrators decided I could not speak English because they looked at me. Mao Zedong explains math. In geometry, I just drew a picture of an egg. That was enough geometry for me. My grandfather was jailed by the Red Army sometime between 1966 and 1976, and my mother says, I saw him cry when I tried to visit. He wanted to eat the bao I made for him. Algae gather, gleaming like jewels, on the head of my 5th grade betta fish. Counter-revolutionaries during the Cultural Revolution are likened to finding a bone inside an egg. I was born healthy in the year of the rat. The man on the balcony invests in a foldable set of 2 chairs and 1 table in eggshell white, mold resistant, perfect for outdoor use. I was 10 when I willed a rock to fall off a ledge just by staring at it long enough. This poem's pretty new-ish. It's called Dream of the Lopsided Crown. It is a sonnet crown. And for those of you who are new to the sonnet crown, at the end of each sonnet, the last line of the sonnet will begin the next sonnet. And then the first line of the entire sonnet crown will end the entire sonnet crown. It's called Dream of the Lopsided Crown. Uh-oh. That's been, oh, it worked again. Hey, it worked out. It's called Dream of the Lopsided Crown, so you'll see that it's kind of a fucked up crown. So you'll hear how the iterations are kind of off and wrong for good reason. It's kind of an autobiography, so I think you might be learning a bit about me here. If you haven't already by everything. Okay. Dream of the Lopsided Crown. I had this dream where I am the daughter of the machinist, my father balancing pipes that lead to other pipes, dropping a marble ball. Precision as love, without remainders, without the toothy excess, a spiral-bound notebooks. I cut love clean. Instead, I am the daughter of the gambler. Who is winning the staring contest? I asked my father. I dare you to blink. Slumped slug, he spills all the chips on the table and says nothing, nothing, always nothing. Chirp, chirp, goes the robin, robber of dreams. All around me, Atlantic City butters itself with dinner rolls, roar like ocean bilge. No one looks me in the eye. Here is the daughter, spun in boardwalk cotton candy, puke perfect. Here is the father saying, I am your father. Village after village, fishmongers walk away from their fish, drawn to city stupor. Dream of the dung beetle, I soothe, of its celestial turns, simple machinations in muck. With each celestial turn, each match, I am mucked, soothed not. No tooth under no pillow. I gnaw on a spare rib to tease myself delicious. Dream of the baby owl twisting its bright eye onto you. When I was born, I did not cry or blink a telescope doll, spittle spun and talcum tossed. My mother told me she's the only beauty left in this world. I knocked my gavel in agreement. Hear, hear, song of justice, just enough. Today, the planets gnaw on their nails and smoke, exhausted. I wipe CO2 from my memory in a circular motion, waving hello. In a photograph, my mother cradles me in New York, and I shaking a fist in front of a statue of some old white general who did not go to jail for all his murders. Across the street, casino buses of lost dreams arrive in Chinatown with red cigarette streamers. Here, the ghosts cry so loudly, you can see their breath in the alleyways, winter wailing down to rats. Rats see the alleyway walls, winter there cannot fall down sooner. My brother, born in the blue flame of February, is my mirror kin. Together, we kick everything in sight to see better. Anthill, MSG bin, box of plastic cutlery, clanging a xylophone avant-garde. We raise seashells to our ears and hear nothing but garbage trucks, lifting all that we waste but want. Crush, crap, the dinosaur of garbage gobbles. Together, the restaurant babies refill napkin and sauce containers like regurgitating bird food. We sing of duck sauce and chili and straws pulled down by levers, levitating in tubular innovation. Customers furnish their mouths with lacquered loins, a pork procession. Dream of the country that shall not be named. Coins and clouds held over our heads like carrots. Head in the clouds, I coined the name, hellish, careless rot. What I called the garden my father smoked in, seed of ash and fire spit. Cilantro stems under boots of drunk men, demanding payback for oceans they've crossed, convinced the ocean crossed them. Cross my heart, my father swears, eyes as red as a rabbit, grazer of nothing. Tomatoes roll down sidewalks, little splats of startling summer. Dream of my heart, rolling away state by state. Late July, my grandmother clips green vines with her claws, wears it as jade. The garden simmers in brackish brown slush. Rot like armpits, rot like lizard eyes. I dream of string beans so long they lineage. My mother, the gardener, digs deep like every worm I've ever known. She overturns the soil, the living freshly furrowed. I want a vegetable, love she loves. She loves all that is living, wants fresh fur, a lullaby of vegetables to sing her aching bones to sleep. My mother stretches snake-like, hissing at machines she furnishes with envelopes. Her body overworked, my love flying around her like a bat. Frantic flight, I echo, won't you take a day off? Dream of labor as love. Overtime is time and a half, the half-moon coos. My bat love, her kindly blind kin. Equations of the equator calculate night shift after night shift equals sedimentary sleep. At pimple dusk, my brother inspects stubble on his chin, looks like the father as adolescent idol. Year after year, we watch banks being built on ancient ground, money sprouting rabbit ears and rivers receding in recession. My father blinks the bottle away, wobbles in his wonder. Where is the daughter if by mountain, canyon, forest, or heart ambled? Daughter, I have this dream where I say what I mean first. Thank you so much. One last poem, and this one is, I was thinking a lot about the mung beans, so this one has a lot of food in it. So this is for my ancestors, and for those who unfortunately did not survive the Great Leap Forward, which is a Maoist campaign, 1958 to 1962, where 36 million people estimated starved right before the Cultural Revolution. This is my grandfather's generation. In this poem, my ghosts just eat. eat a lot of delicious food, and maybe some not delicious things. But this is them talking. It's called After Preparing the Altar, the Ghost Feast Feverishly. And if any of you are local in terms of Seattle or Portland, this will be turned into a show at the Fry Art Museum It opens June 1st, so check out the fry, and this poem will be featured in it. Okay, and thank you all for coming, and can't wait to hear all of you read soon. After preparing the altar, the ghosts feast feverishly. It begins with a quote from Audre Lorde, who was also an ancestor. How hard it is to sleep in the middle of a life. We wake in the middle of a life, hungry. We smear durian along our mouths, sing soft death a lullaby. Carcass breath, arrows of licked fingers, and the finest perfume. What is love if not rot? We wear the fruit's hull as a spiked crown, grinning in green armor. Death to the grub, fat in his milky shuffle. Death to the lawlessness of dirt. Death to mud and its false chocolate. To the bloated sun we want to slice open and yolk all over the village. We want a sun-drenched slug feast, an omelet loosening its folds like hot jello. We want the marbled fat of steak and all its swirling pink galaxies. We want the drool, the gnash, the pluck of every corn kernel raw in summer's swell. Tears welling up oil. Order up pickled cucumbers, piles like logs for a fire, like fat limbs we pepper and succulent in. Order up shrimp chips curling in a porcelain bowl like subway seats. Grapes peeling from bitter bark, almost translucent, like eyes we would rather see. Little girl, when do you leave leaven in your sight? Death to the open eyes of the dying. Here, there are so many open eyes, we can't close each one. No, we did not say the steamed eye of a fish. No, we did not say purple yam lips. We said eyes, still and resolute as a heartbreaker. Does this break your heart? Look, we don't want to be rude, but we want seconds, please. Want globes of oranges swallowed whole like a basketball, or Mars, or whatever planet is the most delicious. Slather Saturn, ferment Mercury, lap up its film of dust. Seconds, thirds, fourths, meat wool, a bouquet of chicken feet, a garden of melons monstrous in their bulge. Prune back nothing. We purr in this garden. We comb through berries and come out so blue. Little girl, lasso tofu, the rope cutting its belly clean. Deep fry a cloud so it tastes like bitter gourd, or your father leaving the exhaust of his car charred. Serenade a snake and slither its tongue into yours and bite. Love. What is love if not knotted in garlic? Child, we move through graves like eels, delicious with our heads first. We move through the graves like eels with our heads first. Our teeth, little needles to stitch a factory of everything made in China. You ask, are you hungry? Hunger cuts through the air like ozone. You ask, what does it mean to be rootless? Roots are good to use as toothpicks. You, how can you wake in the middle of a life? We shut and open our eyes like the sun shining on tossed pennies in a forgotten well. You, Choi, bolts into roses down here. While you were sleeping, we woke to the old leaves of your backyard shed and ate that, and then we ate one of your lost flip-flops too. In a future life, we saw rats overtake a supermarket with so much milk they turned opaque. We wake to something boiling. We wake to watch dirt from lettuce to blossom into your face, aphids along the lashes. Little girl, don't forget to take care of the chickens squawking in their mess and stench. Did our mouths buckle at the sight of you devouring slice after slice of pizza and the greasy box chew? Does this frontier swoon for you? It's time to wake up. Wake the tapeworm who loves his home. Wake the ants. Let them do-si-do a spoonful of peanut butter. Tell us, little girl, are you hungry? Are you awake? Astonished enough?